Okay, let's try this out. Hello Facebook friends from across North America. May I have 3 minutes of your time? Thank you. If you've seen the previous video, I had Global News cover some general mobility issues in the city of Montreal. The video was cut short for 5 o'clock news, and some major points of consideration got cut out of the mix. Hopefully a long cut will come out, but if not, here are some core arguments. Number 1. The reason I chose to sit sideways and not facing the rear of the bus is because it's easier for my balance. It also suits the wheelchair. I'm able to keep eye contact with the driver at all times, and most importantly is that I don't get boxed in when I'm trying to exit the bus. I received a lot of solidarity, but some unsupportive responses in regards to the chair that I choose to get around. Rest assured, all other bus passengers are secure because I am deeply stuck between a metal bar and a wall of the bus. I have never felt insecure on the bus, never had an issue in 9 years, but I still do not plan on modifying my wheelchair I use 16 hours a day. Even if I did put on brakes, that policy wouldn't change. Moreover, a Canadian crash testing study on which the policy is likely based showed that rear-facing seating positions versus sideways seating positions doesn't have a large margin of difference. My core complaint to the STM was that I was being socially profiled, and although I believe that's harsh, I still think it's completely valid. I've seen some of the best, some of the worst. If it hasn't been for reasonable drivers, I would not have been able to earn a living for the past 5 years in this city. But what I have repeatedly encountered is that a set of policies do not get distributed equally. Now picture this. A packed bus pulls up with the ramp not working. The driver tells me in such a matter-of-fact way that I know it's a convenient excuse for him to leave me behind. He won't help, I won't be late, and so I find a way to enter the bus by using a certain technique. Once I have gotten on the bus, I have to struggle through the 10 to 15 people as I shuffle my way to the wheelchair section, pushing and prodding and asking politely to move. Meanwhile, as I'm going through this shuffle, I see suitcases everywhere. I see 2 strollers that are in the mix, a woman in a walker, and some kids that are hanging off the side. But at the same time, once I get to that position, it seems like I'm the only one that's being targeted. I see all kinds of policy breaches on the bus, and so after struggling without his assistance to finally get on the bus, I definitely think it's unfair once he starts targeting me. It's kind of like, screw you. How many policies did you have to breach until you picked me out? My core argument revolves around individual rights on a public transit. Everybody assumes a margin of risk when they take any form of public transportation, and we shouldn't infantilize persons with disabilities. The current rear-facing position policy is to ensure my safety. However, I know my safety best, and as long as I'm in a wheelchair section and I do not infringe on any of the rights of others or security of others, then I should be free to assume the position that I feel most best. Lastly, I chose to go public because my livelihood depends on it. Persons with disabilities who want to get out of the house, start a career or station in life, or anything beyond staying at home on government assistance, still need to work really hard to open up the world. My key message to the STM is to use your drivers as a resource to make up for Montreal's lack of accessible environment. As titular persons responsible of their passenger vehicles, they have training and tools at their disposal to be able to at least try to accommodate irregular situations. Currently, they exercise little professional discretion when it comes to interacting with wheelchair users and accessibility guidelines. Here in Montreal, few businesses are actually fully accessible. The underground pathways and the metro system are still very limited. The sidewalks are rough and it snows half the year. Making a living in the city without a vehicle is damn near impossible. So in spite of all these challenges that I have to go through on a daily basis, and the city authorities want to complain about the way that I take the bus, throw me a frickin' bone. Now, I'm not doing this just for me. It's been so long that I've been in a wheelchair, going on 17 years, and with my graduate studies in public policy, it's weighing on my conscience, and I feel that I'd certainly have to be speaking out. There's plenty of people that have limitations whose days are hard enough that there should be the less amount of bullshit possible just to get around.